All right. We're live, I think. Just waiting for the confirmation that YouTube's pulling the stream, and I'll get started here. Just make sure that the sound levels and everything are good here. All right. Any second now. Okay, good. We're live. Welcome, everybody, to another Indigo Gaming stream. Hopefully this one turns out to be a good one. I have not played a ton of this game yet, but it is made by Obsidian, in the vein of the old classics like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment. I think a lot of the creators, at least some of the creators involved in this game, were involved in the original games, or at least, you know, related to, at least in some degree. Hopefully it'll be good. This is an interesting game. This actually caught my eye a lot more than a similar game to this, which was Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity was more or less like a unofficial reboot of, say, Baldur's Gate in the style and theme of the game. But this one caught my eye in that it has more of a empire building mechanic at the beginning, and a lot more emphasis on moral choices and things like that, at least as far as I understand. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm going to start a brand new game and create a new character. So difficulty, I probably, if you've played Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale or any of those kind of games, you're gonna realize that those games are pretty harsh and do not hold your hand, and you can die pretty quickly in battle if you're not careful. I might actually, as lame as it would be, I might actually do story mode just because I don't want to die constantly, but receive wounds don't locked out. I think I'll do story mode just because I want to actually get far in the game and not have to restart a ton of times. I can understand if you're disappointed by that, but I think it'd be more enjoyable if we actually get farther in the game rather than just die repeatedly. Alright, let's see the cinematic here.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tunon brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Kind of an interesting art style, almost like a storybook style, like paper cutouts, but with an emphasis on color and things like that. It's kind of interesting. Okay, we're in character creation. Yeah, YouTube can stream. It's not nearly as established as Twitch, but so far I've been using that since I have a bigger following here than I have on Twitch. I may switch eventually. Yes, Naked Man. All those chiseled features. Look like they're literally chiseled, actually. Kind of interesting art style, really. They didn't go for the realistic look because probably due to budget concerns, so they decided to go more of an artistic style. Huh, interesting. Let's see. I could go tall and slender, medium build, or big and buff. Well, normally I'd say tall and slender. I'll do tall. Not as slender as I used to be, but I'll just be tall, just since I am very tall. All right. Skin could be like pasty or probably closest to that. All right. So I'm basically, as far as I understand, I'm going to be basically conquering an empire. As far as I understand so far the story. There's quite a few classes and things. We'll get to that. There's this whole bar at the top here is various steps of character creation. It's pretty in-depth. There's definitely character creation here. I won't spend too much time on the visual. Let me just see if I can get a face that. Let's see, either this one or this one. I think I'll do this one. Hair. That's some pretty fabulous hair there. The front looks a little bit weird in that one. That's probably closest to my actual hair. I'll do the windswept. That's pretty good there. Let's see, medium brown maybe. Something like that. Sure, why not? Can barely hear that actually, the music's really loud. Yeah, I can barely hear that actually.
Learn something every day. I'll just hold on to this.
Oh, there's different tattoos and stuff too, huh? Do I want any tats? Facial tattoos? Yeah, I probably don't want any facial tattoos. We've got portraits. Yeah, this is like a total Baldur's Gate style. The different portraits and stuff. It's actually pretty well made. I don't know exactly what kind of. It makes more sense to choose your portrait after you've chosen your class, actually. So it's kind of odd that they make you do it here, but not sure exactly what kind of character I want to build just yet. But I don't know, that one's kind of cool. I like that one. We can change it later if we want to. Let's see. How did I join Kyros's army? As a pit fighter, a soldier, hunter, lawbreaker, guild apprentice, war mage, noble scion, or diplomat. I'm wondering if this is just role-playing stuff or if it's stat-based too. Kind of like the idea of war mage, but maybe one of these other ones. Yeah, I'll do war mage for now. They've got a whole backstory for this. This is a lot more traditional RPG where you actually, story and backstory matters. I was trained in the following combat style. I was kind of thinking sort of a spell sword class here, but let's see. There's atrophy. Okay, so this determines what I start with. Okay, this completely changes my starting appearance too, which is kind of cool. Charged Fist doesn't sound particularly amazing, but I'm assuming you get better stuff later on. Frost spells. These are like melee spells, huh? Like, okay. Yeah, unfortunately they're all melee, it looks like, to start out with, at least. Dual, there's kind of cool. Javelin, interesting choice. Great sword. Oh, I can choose which ability. Oh. Except for the spell ones. The spell ones are only one choice. That's kind of cool. A lot of these have multiple abilities, so you could choose between one of the two to start with. I think I might try shock spells. Or should I do... I think I'll do... I think I'll do frost spells. That sounds kind of cool. A secondary expertise. Okay, good. Now, with a secondary, I want to do... Oh. Weird, the greatsword is on a secondary. Interesting. Wonder why they did that. Spear and shield. There's no sword as secondary? Huh. Dual wielding kind of sounds kind of cool. Flurry of blows or slice. Flurry of blows sounds pretty awesome, actually. I'll do that. Okay, so I've got ice, magic, and dual wielding and flurry of blows. That's an interesting mix, I guess. Now I get to choose my color combo here. So it would look kind of cool. It looks like I'm kind of married to the... Oh, banner. No, that's just the banner. Okay. I'm wondering why I can't change all this black material here. I'd like to be able to customize that, but I guess I have to kind of tie it in with that. Okay, banner. What would be a good banner here? I haven't played the original Divine Divinity, unless you're talking about Original Sin, which I have played. That was pretty good. Looking forward to this sequel. That seems to include a 4-player co-op, which should be interesting. Might be a little bit overkill, but we'll see, I guess. Kind of liking that. That symbol's pretty cool too, actually. Alright, I'm kind of okay with that. It's close as I could find to indigo. It's a little bit more purpley, but what are you going to do, right? Alright. The diamonds were kind of cool. I was kind of torn between the diamonds and the symbol I chose. It'd be super unique here and do indigo. Alright. Now I gotta roll my stats. Actually, this doesn't have rolling, does it? It just has stat application. Stat by, I guess it's called. Alright. So he's going to be a spell sword, so I probably have to apply some might as well as wits, looks like. This is basically strength, dex, essentially. No, wait. Yeah, dex, agility, constitution, intelligence, and wisdom, I think. Basically. Alright, so some strength. I want some wits. Ooh, what do I have to do? I have to kill something, though. They don't give you a whole lot of points, do they? So... Oh, they recommend certain ones. Ooh. They don't actually recommend strength. Interesting. Okay, so I should probably... Oh, ability and spell cooldown. Interesting. So they actually apply to spell abilities, too. they eschewed the old D&D thing where every other point matters, really. So every point does actually matter. Okay, so... Oh, recommends resolve as well. I just don't have many points to apply, really. So it doesn't seem very great, but I guess it's the best I can do. I don't really want to take away anything else, particularly. So it's going to be kind of a moderate across the board. Alright, skills. Got 20 points, so I should definitely add a lot into magic stuff, I'm assuming. Yeah. Frost. Dual wields. And I'm assuming I'll probably want some dodge. What's lore? The subterfuge would be kind of cool, actually. That's sneaking and stuff. Let's put some in a dodge. I'll put one into lore, I guess. Seems decent. I'm probably not making a particularly great character, but... Alright, now this is interesting. This actually has an entirely optional section in here. You notice these last points here at Conquest? You can actually skip this to get, like, your basic backstory, or you can do an entire mini-game, which basically determines the entire fate of the empire or country, whatever it is. Which I found really, really interesting. So I'm going to do a Conquest mode. We'll see what that looks like.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Alright. I really like this whole, you know, it's got like a candle and scrolls and things like that. This is basically like your war map. Okay, so during Conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Hero's Invasion. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the tier respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. All right. So year 1. That's really cool. It's like the old style tactics. All right, it's the Bastard City. So it's the northern border of Kyros. It's a nexus of commerce. It's to the Tears is the center of all wealth. Okay, so basically if we take this city, it would basically mean that Kyros' will is insurmountable. It would be a real statement of power, basically. Alright, so we have 2 options here. So we can infiltrate the Tears. Both armies sent their forces to prepare the way, or we can... Gates of Judgment. In the first major engagement of the war, Kyros' armies cross the mountains and establish a foothold. Let's try to infiltrate, maybe? Yeah, I can't change the options, unfortunately, in-game. Yeah, the sound levels in this are a bit weird. The music is particularly loud in this game. So I apologize, I won't be able to change that until we get into the game. Okay, history would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? Okay, so if I infiltrate, I could aid the Disfavored scouts or conscript enemy fighters for the Scarlet Chorus. Alright, I'm not sure which one I want to back just yet. Okay, so here they have little tooltips here. So Disfavored are disciplined and battle hardened. The Disfavored are an elite legion in Kyros's army. They spearheaded the conquest of the Younger Realms, finding themselves always outnumbered, but never outclassed. Led by the steadfast and dutiful Graven Ash, whom they follow with obsessive devotion, they are committed to imposing their interpretation of order upon the relative lawlessness of the tiers. The Legion only tolerates Northerners in their ranks, priding themselves on their high standards and cultural purity. Okay. So they're a bit Puritan and they're a bit cult-like. Okay. What about the Scarlet Chorus? They're a little more than gang of thugs and their captive slaves. Rather than organize under their commissioned officers, the chorus follow a hierarchy seemingly ruled by whomever has the bravado to command and defend their position. At the end of this chaotic pecking order, the Archon of Secrets, better known as the Voices of Nerat, treats the Scarlet Chorus as his personal army. The Scarlet Chorus often suffers tremendous losses after battle, only to swell in the aftermath when captured enemies and collateral prisoners are given the cruel opportunity to join or die. So the Scarlet Chorus actually seem kind of bad, don't they? One's basically like revolutionary thugs, and the other one's like kind of Puritan. So, tough choice. I think I'll do this, the Disfavored. Seems kind of cool, so let me do that. Okay, so they identified a modest border defense and organized an attack that would leave the enemy uncoordinated and cut off from aid. You oversaw the preparations and offered your opinions on the strategy. So the clashing of swords and spears fell to silence. Okay, so yeah, so they took him out. So that was interesting because I could choose from two different factions and two different ways of approach. So that would probably affect the story later on, I'm thinking. Okay, so the Bastard City's resident fire mages threatened the first leg of the conquest. Kyros's forces put a stop to their unchecked power. Okay, what's the other option? You found an ally within the city to prepare the way for the approaching armies. So should I take out the fire mages or inside agent? I think the fire mages sound more interesting to me. All right, fire mages. What do we got here? Okay, so our fiercest opponent were the mages of the School of Wild Wrath. Too barbaric to use their power responsibly, the unbridled practitioners needed to be stopped. Okay, so how do we take them out? We could lure them to a Disfavored ambush, or we could a meeting with the Voices of Nerat. So basically we could trick them into just essentially destroying them all, or we could trick them into meeting with the Voices of Nerat, which would turn notorious for their cruel and mysterious interrogation techniques. Probably torture. I'm thinking the Voices in Nerat would be a little bit more interesting. Let's do that. Okay, so there are a few who could describe the horrors of the Archons of Secrets. What horrors the Archons of Secrets visit upon his enemies during the conquest. So basically, they're either slain by the disfavored or conscripted. So the remaining members who weren't just decimated were either slain or conscripted into the enemy. Okay. Okay, so we're placed you in the Bastard City ahead of the main armies. Okay. My work softened the city defenses for the arrival of Kyros' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies a meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? This is really kind of backstabby here, isn't it? So I could either duel the city marshal, incite a riot, or spread fear through assassination. Ooh. Seems pretty bad. I think I might do an honorable thing for now and actually challenge the city marshal to a duel. Yeah, so we're wishing to spare the soldier lives in battles ahead and civilian lives for occupations. So basically a one-on-one duel would decide the fate rather than have lots of people die in my stead. That sounds pretty good, right? Okay, so he was an old and experienced fighter, and his value to the guard was accepted truth. Okay, so you were guaranteed protection, you met him in the square, and fought in view of the tense onlookers. Battle drone for a very long time. So an ornamental chain caught on, that was hanging from his neck, caught on the quilling of his sword, and you got an opportunity to end his life swiftly. That's pretty rough. Okay, so it's poised to crumble. Pretty rough. Kind of seems like I'm the bad guy, doesn't it? All right, next part. So, okay, so the Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy. So I'm going to join the next frontier of Kyros' conquest. So I can either be a judge and overseer for the settlement of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. Well, one sounds kind of like a cushy desk job. And the other one sounds like a warmonger. I think I chose War Mage to make more sense if I went to the Apex, right? I think so. Let's do this. Mountain Nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian. Queens, interesting. The second year of the war, there's favored and Scarlet Chorus that pushed deep into the tiers. Alright, so what choices do I have? I can either the Archon of Stone's assault was perhaps too successful. Battle of Edgering Pass, or I can do Denial of Strength. A new school of mages that presented problems and opportunities. Since I'm a War Mage and I just took out a War Mage clan, I'll probably be more interested in the new school of mages, yeah? So water mages. So they pose us as a dimensional threat. The disfavored wish to annihilate the school while the Scarlet Chorus insisted on capturing the mages wishing to learn of their craft. I think learning their craft would probably be good. Oh, but that would join me. That would align with the Scarlet Chorus. This is weird. Like, you're not really allied with one or the other. You're kind of helping them at each point in time. Okay. So I think I'll do this. I think I'll side with the chorus this time, just because that sounds intriguing. What can you learn from them? Because they praise my name as they drag the beaten elders of the school to the voices of Nerad's tent. Guess I accidentally did the same thing again, basically. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Chorus's soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The disfavored adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming the chorus lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy's school. Interesting. Okay, so I can either poison the well, poor communication led to the gruesome deaths of disfavored scouts, or Kyrus's force debated over the fate of an enemy captain. Yeah, I'll do this. I don't want to take on disfavored too harshly right now. Alright, so when Kyrus's force captured and a celebrated enemy hero, the armies bickered over his fate. The disfavored wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kyrus's mercy. The Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. So I can either use the captain to send a message, or use the captain's body as a grim warning. Ooh. I think I'll stay away from the grim warning just now. So I agreed with the disfavored plan and sent the enemy captain back with a message. All those who surrendered or cooperated would be treated with deserving respect as subjects of Kyrus's peace. Okay, that sounds good. Shocked by your clemency, the enemy captain vowed to deliver his message in full and paid his respects before departing for his encampment. Though typically more uncompromising, the disfavored praised your innovative thinking. Okay, so I kind of upset the Scarlet Chorus. So I'm kind of teetering back and forth between these two forces, aren't I? Okay, so the defeat of Apex was an inevitability. So how did I orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? Let's see. 3 days of meditation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kyrus's forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Okay, these both kind of seem interesting. I've been kind of avoiding conflict so far, so this one kind of seems interesting. I could negotiate surrender, or I could basically bait the Queen of Apex into attacking me while under a banner of truce and slay her in a duel. That kind of sounds like I did what I did last time, so I'll do that with the marshal. All right, so during peace talks, a well-placed insult goaded the Queen of Apex into striking you. You responded to the slight by challenging her to a duel. She was skilled in battle, but my field experience outmatched her court training. So I demanded that her followers kneel before the Overlord's banner. Okay, so the rest of the leaders capitulated, and they surrendered the valley to Kyrus's forces. Interesting. Alright, so I think we're about halfway through this conquest. It's interesting so far. Okay, so we've got 3 territories this time. We have Azure, Stalwart, or Vellum Citadel. Let's see. So the line of Apex finally rested on the hands of Kyrus's forces. Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in victory while the disfavored prepared for the next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Alright, so... Okay, so now I can either attack Azure, Curious to patch the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure, or I can Stalwart with its easily defended position and rich military tradition. The realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Or Velum Citadel. Curious's conquering gaze fell upon the Velum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. That seems interesting. But I think holding Stalwart would probably mean like more of a complete victory, yeah? Let's do that. So it's year 3. So it's best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated in their home soil. Okay, with its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watched for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Curious's forces. On the dawn of the third year of the war, Curio's forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted army. Okay, so I can either marching on empty, tragedy struck when hungry Scarlet Chorus's soldiers appropriated disfavored supplies. Ooh. Or a contentious setback. A stinging defeat led to accusations amongst Curio's army. Neither seems particularly great, but I'll like to see how they interact when one kind of eats the other one's lunch here. Okay, so the Stalwart defenders burned their crops and they retreated, leaving the invaders little to forage. Starving, the Scarlet Chorus mob raided from the disfavored well-maintained supply lines, incurring casualties on both sides. So I can either punish the guys who stole the other guy's food and supplies, or I could order the guys who had more to share them. I guess we'll go for more of the peaceful route. Oh wow. So we cut off the thieves' hands for their treachery, but the disfavored share their provisions. Okay, that seems fairly balanced. What's the other one? Or I could just straight up murder the the thieves. Ooh. This one seems a bit more balanced. I mean, yeah. Rough, but a bit more balanced. Okay, the Scarlet Chorus commanders argued that the Horde was starving. Being the largest of Curio's armies, they were also the least provisioned. The men were wrong to steal, but the disfavored were equally wrong to withhold supplies from their allies. You agreed with the Chorus version of events and ordered that the disfavored supplies be shared. Okay, that's pretty much just a longer form version of what we just said. Alright, what's the next step? We can either... the Beasts of Stalwart, a new Stalwart Chorus tactic, provoked disfavored rage. Ooh. Oh, it'd cause even more conflict between the two. Or a string of mass suicides led to the Scarlet Chorus making demands of the disfavored. Yeah. Both seems pretty bad. Why the mass suicides though? Oh, because they conscript from their enemies. Conquered Logos began committing suicide instead of joining the Scarlet Chorus. Desperate to add more bodies to the Horde, the Scarlet Chorus demanded a portion of disfavored prisoners. The disfavored denied their right of recruitment as the realm's population had taken a steep decline. Ooh. So I can either grant some of the disfavored slaves to the Scarlet Chorus or deny Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are killing themselves over it. It seems like best for everyone to stop them from causing all these mass suicides, I would think, right? I mean, if I just give them more slaves, they might kill themselves anyway, so... Alright, let's try this. So I agreed with the disfavored arguments. This conquest was never about ruling a graveyard, but the Scarlet Chorus acted contrary to that goal. The voices of Nerat and his mobs blamed you for the suppressing of their ability to conduct war as they saw fit. In spite of their protests, you read this proclamation. You read this proclamation in every conquered village, knowing that enemy spies would hear your verdict. Okay. Okay, so the disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to the mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered this impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula. The Edict of Storms is like a spell, basically, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of Stalwart's leaders persisted in beating. Pleased by your efforts, Tunon deemed you the proper representative to deliver Curus's edict. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Huh. Okay, I can give no warning and proclaim the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Stalwart had an ample opportunity to surrender for several years. The time for mercy was long gone, or I can attempt to ingratiate themselves with the people of Stalwart. The Scarlet Chorus insisted that warning be sent to the towns and villages so that the people may prepare for the horror about to descend on them. So basically, this is kind of like a warning before you do a drone strike, essentially. It's kind of interesting. So this could possibly give me some allies later, I'm guessing. Or just bomb them, basically. Huh. It is wartime, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want all the villagers to die as well. So let's warn them. So its wrath was intended for the cowardly regents of Stalwart, not those unfortunate swept up into the calamity of their leadership. A warning in advance of the spell would give locals time to prepare for the devastation to come. You were content to let punishment fall on the innocent as lightly as Kyros' wills allows. All right. Comforted that you might yet spare lives, you broke the seal of Kyros' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Oh, it looks like some bad stuff is happening there. The clear skies darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turning rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from this area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armors, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no signs of dissipating. Several units of the disfavored, who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing storm, were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to topple the Stalwart Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze ornaments of two once great legions. That's pretty rough. As Kyros' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. right? All storms should have edicts, right? Okay, good. We're finally done with that. I won't have to narrate everything. Thank God. All right. Well, I'm not sure if we made particularly good choices, but we made interesting choices. So I'd like to see how that ties into the game and if our choices really matter and how it affects each scenario.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault.
Interesting. Okay, so the Valley is basically fighting back. They murdered the garrison of both the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus, and they're trying to fight back from the tyranny.
With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers.
Okay, so they redeploy. There's no definitive battle yet, with months passing. And disagreement between the Archons. Okay, so we'll see how that works out.
The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons. Crush the Oathbreakers, or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored.
Another edict, okay.
The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons.
That's rough. What if I just read the edict and everybody dies? That could happen. That happened last time.
As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you.
Oh, that's rough.
You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Huh. Seems like the Overlord is a pretty bad guy. Fatebringer Indigo, I presume. We've been expecting you. I guess I have to talk to this guy. Oh boy, more talking. Alright. So basically, let's see what he's saying. So you heard about my avalanche. Feared that I was on the other side of the avalanche. And so it's me. So this is a disfavored person. Okay, interesting. Close that gigantic tutorial over there. Okay, so... Oh, interesting. Okay. So, interesting. So it's already kind of made a difference in the dialogue. They're calling me the Queenslayer. Probably because that one choice I made where I fought her directly. And they said they'd probably be pretty surprised and horrified to see me in the flesh again. Okay, so is this too small to read? I can probably pump up the font size if this is hard to read. I don't know if I'll be able to read out loud everything. But essentially, most of the invasion force still lives, but they're scattered across the tiers. But I know the Archons are expecting me. I'm expecting you. Okay, so I can either glare at them, at the person silently, or tell them I'm in a hurry, or tell them about the Edict of Kyros. And basically saying it's like a, you know, fight or die situation. Or I can use my lore skill and tell them that it's Kyros magic. That sounds kind of cool. That sounds more like my character. I actually use my lore skill, so I'll do that. Oh, cool. I got a lore skill experience. It says that my senses are greater than mine. Don't pretend to know about those kind of things. But if Kyros is magic behind it, that means it's important. And he was asking me what Kyros has in store for the enemy. Asking me, like, you know, is it plague? Is it, you know, festering twisted bones or whatever? So I don't know this person, so I'm just going to tell him that I'm in a hurry to deliver the message to the Archons. I'm not going to necessarily tell him about the edict, because I don't trust this person. Travel a long way, won't keep you further. And then is interrupted and said, did you hear that? More runners, third time this week. The Oathbreakers are sending messengers through the mountains to gather help from outside the valley. Okay, that's interesting. So let's go fight these guys before they can get more help from outside. So just to help out, if people want to read, I'm going to bump up the font scale a little bit. I don't know how much that is, but be a little bit more legible. Okay, so this is a very much, if you've ever played Baldur's Gate, they've like really, for this engine, this is really a lot like the Baldur's Gate Infinity engine. They even borrowed the little cursor. Looks like with the circles, the green circles and everything. This should be very familiar if you ever played those games. So the thing about those games is they are very advanced RPGs, but they are played in real time with pausing mechanics. So the idea is that you'd pause just like this, give out your orders, and then you would unpause to see them carried out. So that's me. What do I have? Why does it say none? Let's see if I can frozen grasp this guy. Walk over there. Okay, this is an ally, but it's not exactly controllable. So let me unpause it and see if I can do that. Looks like I froze that guy. Oh, maybe I can back up and hit him from range. Yeah, that's better. Let this guy take the hits. This guy or girl, I think. I think it's a woman. Wow, he exploded. Let me see if he's got any good loot. He has a whetstone and a potion of protection. I'll take those, thank you. Oh, it looks like there's some fighting down here. Interesting. So there's some rubble here. I can either let's see, what can I do with the rubble? Okay, cool. Yeah, I played a little bit of this earlier just to get used to the game. Oh, it's okay, let me pause that. Still fighting over there. Interesting mechanics here. Like based on your stats, you can try to approach things differently. Like here, I can either try to squeeze through the gap or push the boulder. But I don't have 30 athletics, so I won't be able to push the boulder. So I'm gonna have to try to squeeze through. Unfortunately, that leaves me by myself. So let me Let's ice this guy.
Will do.
Did I not ice him?
Will do.
That's frozen. Nice.
On it.
Can I switch to my weapons here, or am I stuck to spells for now? Maybe I'll back up and hit him from range.
Will do.
Still on cooldown.
I got it.
Nice. These guys are bad too. Okay, so these are more disfavored, I guess. These guys are more disfavored troops. You try to get ice this one. Maybe get them from the angle. Ice.
Right.
Frozen. More range attacks here. Nice. Another one. My spell's still on cooldown, so I'll just hit him with ranged here for a bit.
On it.
Okay, my spell's back. Let me ice this guy too. Seems to be pretty effective. Okay, they're down. Who's this person here? Okay, this guy's hurt. He's clenching his gut. Don't bother with me. Ooh, you see a hint of entrails between his fingers. That's rough. If you're wounded, it's not trivial, or I don't have time for this. This guy just took on a few people on his own, so I think I might try to help him. He lasts through clenched teeth. This, but a scratch. He doubles over in pain, gagging and shivering. Keep hold of your guts then. Farewell. That's pretty rough. I think I will, if you let me help. I said I'm fine. Soldier moans and shakes his head. Graven Ash protects. Interesting. So basically the Archon of War, Graven Ash, protects his people even while he's sleeping or far away. Apparently through magic means. Interesting.
Sorry, can't.
Oh, I should probably loot this guys real quick. Ooh. Sun Shoulder's Javelin. That seems unusual at least. These two people are dead. Good. Oh, another dead person over here. There's a lot of spiked people up here. Or at least they're hung from these symbols. A mushroom? Oh, that's pretty cool. This mushroom will let me revive myself if I'm killed. A lot of these people are hung up. Oh, more fighting. Okay.
Try and catch me, worm.
Okay. So Scarlet Fury weaves around the Vendrian Guard attackers, avoiding their weapons with fluid grace. She nods to acknowledge you. Alright. The Sun Shoulder is... They're kind of debating back and forth here.
You're here at last. Here to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery.
Okay, so this is a Scarlet Chorus person now. And maybe I should know who I'm talking to before I pick sides.
Are you serious? I came to escort you to camp when... Damn it! Kill first, questions later.
Okay, so I could let her be. Or I'll probably help her out. I mean, I've been pretty much not picking one side or the other too much, so I think I'll...
Water lily, but I'd welcome an extra blade.
Okay. Oh, they're avenging Apex. Yeah, that was one of the places we took out before. Okay. See, I don't understand all the lore behind it, so I don't know who Sun Shoulders are or whatever, so... Seems to have a lot of interesting lore, though. Okay, so I have a companion versus capable warrior skilled with both melee and ranged combat. Okay. I think I have that. Ooh, we've got a few people here. Let's see, what do I have? I have Flurry of Blows. That could be kind of cool. I should probably ice somebody because that has a long cooldown. Let me ice... I think that might hit them both. So let me go over here first. And ice them from the side there. And then I should hit both these guys. No? Does it really say... Oh, I think I hit my teammate there. I didn't mean to hit him from that angle. Oh well. Flurry of Blows. Let's see if I can hit. Just trying to get used to the controls here. Sorry about that.
Will do.
I'm just gonna do a normal standard range attack from this guy. We pretty much tore him apart.
Shit.
I got it.
Just sword him.
Phew. I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent.
I guess it's a compliment. Alright.
I'm Verse, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian guard we killed didn't come alone.
Okay, so they already have a lot of allies and stuff, so I guess we have to cut through them. Oh, why are they attacking? I'm gonna ask her about why they're attacking.
The Vendrian guard are testing our strength in battle, learning how we perform before they organize a real offensive. That, or they're really, really desperate to get beyond the mountains and couldn't wait until nightfall.
I guess we'll just join the battle.
I like that. Before we go, you might search among the remains of our fallen comrades. Wherever they're bound, I doubt they'll miss their boots, much less any rings or any useful iron they might be clutching.
Basically saying loot the corpses.
No reason to pity the fallen. Before long, we might wish we'd joined them here. But at least we'll enjoy heavy pockets and warm toes. For the voices of Narat!
So I think the voice volume is a little bit low, I'm guessing. So let me tone down everything else a bit and then increase the master volume. So hopefully the voice volume is a bit louder so that watchers can understand what she's saying and other characters who have voiced dialogue. Oh, some greaves. That sounds good. Oh, a helmet. Scroll. And hide. Interesting. Okay, do I have actually anything equipped? I have a hood. It's just cloth. Let's see if I have any, That'd actually give me, accuracy and deflection. That might be a little bit better. Looks a bit wonky, but And these boots are probably better. Heavy armor. Apparently I can wear them though. That might help me out a little bit. Oh. Those guys don't look friendly. Eyes forward, no looking back. Queenslayer, I've long dreamed of laying claim to your skull. So nice to you to present yourself. Ooh. Okay, Tarkus. She's taunting him. As this guy signals his men to charge, the sound of chanting rises from the south, drawing his attention. Scarlet chorus reinforcements, hurry. Okay, good thing we have some friends over here to help us out. Run down the Oathbreakers, let none escape. Okay, so signing sigils of magic and wordlessly moving her mouth, the Blood Chanter scribes a series of spells into the air. Their red glow surrounds the Vendrian Guard warriors as the Chanter's magic worms its way into their minds, blinding them with rage. Interesting. So telling these guys are saying to hold position, keep to the path. No, don't engage them. We need to run. His order is falling on deaf ears. The warrior reluctantly readies his weapon. So they're kind of all over the place here.
I'm not.
This is a pretty new game, actually. I've only played it for less than an hour. This game was released in November, I believe. So this is a pretty new game. It's just like the style of the older games. Yeah, it looks like basically a more HD version of Baldur's Gate with like 3D characters. They still have 2D backgrounds though. I kind of like it. It gives it more of a painterly quality, I guess. All right, we're outnumbered, but I guess we have some friends here. Hopefully, at least. Okay, who's Skewer? Oh, it's Verse. Okay, so she should come down here, probably attack these guys. I might try to. Can I hit multiple units? Yeah, I'll try to do that.
I got it.
Make friends.
Froze one. Okay, maybe I'll do a flurry of blows now. Maybe on this guy. I'm actually a mage, so I should probably just hit him from range. But what abilities does she have? She has Burning Iron. Let me try to hit Burning Iron on this guy. Oh, that's a ranged, actually. Is my ability back yet? Ooh. I don't know if I can easily switch between my weapon sets or what. I don't even know if I actually have weapons other than the yeah, I don't have any dual wield weapons. I'm just really stuck with my staff, aren't I? Oh no, I have 2 weapon sets. Okay. I wonder how I switch between those. Is there a key here somewhere that I can switch between them? Sorry, I'm just learning the interface here. Because if I switch to my dual wield, that'd make a lot more sense if I actually flurry of blows with that. There, that's better. Now if I switch back to my first set, I can then do the ice on this guy.
On it.
Not frozen, but okay. I think we got him. And everyone else died. Except for this one mage. Ooh, got another faction over here. This one's a part of the disfavored. Come quick, we have a situation on the cliffside. They have the commander. So these factions work together. They're just not. They don't particularly agree eye to eye. That's interesting. I can foresee some conflict in the future. Oh, I should loot these bodies. More boots. Hopefully I'm not over encumbering myself here. Oh, there's somebody alive up here. Okay, doesn't want to be seen. More Greaves. Wait, where's the... Oh, I have to select them both. Okay, I forgot about that. I was wondering why she wasn't following me. I was too busy. I was thinking of like Fallout or whatever, or Diablo. Stow your weapons, or we will find out how long a man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Okay, so one of the Vendrian guards have their commander. I guess the this favorite, I think, commander. Yeah, it holds a disfavored officer at knife point. So the commander is saying, "Skewer him. Worry not for me. Graven Ash will protect." Interesting. I don't think it'll protect him from a fall that big, though. The disfavored officer winces, blood seeping from the seams of his bracers and cuirass. Okay. Okay, so now the mocking blaze from Scarlet Chorus is like, "You heard the man. He plainly invited to use that little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp?" So they don't particularly like each other, so the Scarlet Blaze wouldn't really mind this commander from getting the bad end of the stick, would they? I'm assuming they probably, and answer your question, I'm assuming they probably have shops and stuff. We're just in a combat area. I think there's gold and everything, just like any RPG, so I'm pretty sure that'll happen once we are more free to go to cities and whatnot. This guy says, "This blade, with the jerk of the knife, he slices off a clump of Drastus's matted hair. If you're so eager to see your ally dead, just step closer." So he's really just, he's at literally at the edge of the cliff. He doesn't really have any, anything to barter with other than the commander's life. Oh man, if I had more athletics, I probably could have rushed him. But I can't really do much. Oh, that'd actually be kind of cool. Why kill that disfavored nobody when you could take your swing at the Queenslayer? So I can basically try to save that guy's life by dueling him one-on-one. Or I could say, try to reason with him and say, "Release the prisoner and you might know the inside of a cell." Or tell them to attack. If they attack, he's probably going to die, I'm thinking. So maybe I'll try to play at his ego and say, "Hey, you want to take me on instead?" You, the Queenslayer? Pushing Drastus to his side, Pollock's Tyrrell bounced forward with murder in his eyes. His glorious charge ends somewhat abruptly as the disfavored soldiers step in, weapons out, and butcher Tyrrell. Yep. Dazed but alive, Drastus lets out a long sigh and struggles to his feet. Well, that worked out, I guess. I was kind of looking forward to kicking his ass one-on-one, but that worked out fine. Kyros be praised. That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Cairn himself. Cairn. I'm glad that they have all these tooltips, because I would be completely lost with all the references. I like when games kind of just like sprinkle their lore throughout the whole experience, rather than just like spend 2 hours explaining the whole thing. But yeah, sometimes you do get lost a little bit, so it is nice to have the color tooltips so you can look up things and remember what's going on. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. From the look of it, they thought if they swarmed the pass, maybe one might make it out. We found a few scraps of parchment on the bodies. Okay, so he intercepted one of their messages, I guess. Literacy is rare in the Northern Empire, where the disfavored are born and trained. Interesting. So the disfavored don't really read or write as much. They if they don't, they consider time spent not sparring and readying one's body for mine in battle wasted, basically. That's kind of it's kind of mean. I could take a jab at their illiteracy. Yeah, I am going to do another video. I've been really busy. This is my first weekend since the new year. And I figured I'd do this as sort of like a stopgap, but I do intend on doing a new video as soon as possible. My videos have gotten to be a bit more of a lot more work into each one, but yes, I will do a new video. I'm not giving up on the scripted videos at all. This is just a side thing. The live streaming, I mean. So, all right. Well, I don't want to really just make fun of him because, I mean, the guy can't read, so I'll just examine the parchment. Repeating the same message with in different written scripts, the parchments explain the Vendrian Guard's desire to overthrow Kyros' Archons and rout their armies from the tiers. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. I've kind of, it is one of those things where it's a trade-off. I mean, I can make more videos if there were less time was spent on each one, but I think that people really appreciate the high production quality, and they seem to get a better response. So I'm going to try to go for that. I will do. They won't all be like 20-minute marathons of like 8 different games and stuff like that, like my last video. But I do want to I'll alternate between reviews and retrospectives and analysis videos, but I do intend on keeping maintaining a good amount of quality. So, okay, so back to the game. Repeating the same messages in different scripts, the parchment explained the Vendrian Guard's desire to overthrow Kyros Archons. So, and rout their armies from the tiers. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather open invites to all who remain loyal to the Younger Realms to gather at Vendrian's Well. The Younger Realms are Azure, Apex, Stalwart, and Haven. So basically, it's like an open letter to take out Kyros' tyranny, basically. So I'll just say what it is. It's recruitment material. Well, from the look of it, have you kept them from slipping out of the valley? Whatever they hope to accomplish, I think their plan died here. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southeast and follow the trails downslope for a few hours. You'll see the campfires leagues away. Can't miss it. All right. So I guess that was the beginning battle. Kind of a tutorial as well for combat. Oh, this guy's got loot. Bangles. Bronze Falks. Too bad I can't use two-handed. That's it looks like a nice two-handed sword.
Can't do that.
Oh, what's over here? Oh, it looks like a line I can climb up. Let me just save real quick in case something bad happens. So I'll just take my main character here. Oh, I need to climb. I need athletics. Interesting. So I wonder what's up there. Probably something, maybe some items or whatever. But it's interesting how I like games that offer you choices and only certain choices allow for different paths. So like every time you play, if you play a very different character, you're going to be able to get very different experiences, or, you know, mostly different experiences. Oh. So there's a little scenario here I can probably talk about. It's like they have a prisoner here, and there's the two different factions here. Let's see what's going on. The prisoner says his name is Targus Deimos. He lets out a sigh, tapping his gauntleted finger to his temple. And I don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family's been a driving force in the Vendrian Guard. So the disfavored guy wants him dead. The Scarlet Chorus guy, or I can't tell. They're bald. But we must offer the enemy redemption. Well, save for their inbred nobles. Just ask the Queenslayer. Is that going to be my name throughout the entire thing? It sounds like Game of Thrones. Okay, so kind of a conflict. The red one kind of wants to recruit him. The other one wants to kill him. Okay, so now he's like pushing the point. So we'd let you take our prisoners, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts. We send these conscripts out on patrol, and they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Okay. Okay, so I've got to make a decision. Oh, interesting. So there are skill-based dialogue options, but there's also conquest-based dialogue options that are based on what I chose in the beginning. So this is an interesting one. I've not noticed this before. What gives? Last time I was here, that his favorite showed a little more mercy to the enemy. So I can kind of reason with this guy a little bit. I think I'll do that. That sounds interesting. More in character, I guess. The commander lets out a long sigh as he touches the wound by his neck. These filthy hill people spat on their surrender. We were fools to ever treat them as anything more than violent children. Mercy is what got us into this protracted fight. Let's not continue this mistaken tragedy. Okay, so I can either kill the guy, tell him to kill the guy, or allow to recruit new warriors. I mean, they've not had a particularly bang-up job recently, but give them a chance, I guess. Okay, so the disfavors are not particularly happy with that, but... Okay, so if it'll calm your nerves, this one won't go on the battlefield. Make sure the prisoner is taken straight to the voices in ear at. Okay. So it's saying it won't keep you here anymore. I know you have more important business for the glory of Kyros. All right. Well, at least he's like respectful about it. Didn't just, you know, spit in my face or whatever. So yes. It seems like there's a lot of tensions between the two factions, to say the least. So that's probably going to be a story point later on, and depending on how I influence it, one faction might be more, you know, aggressive or whatnot after the fact. So let's send it to the east, right? Through the gates.
Can't do that.
All right. Now, Stone Shield the name of a guy, or is it just like their title? Okay, so here's the fast travel. So we're at the ruins, and we're trying to get to the disfavored camp, I'm guessing. It'll take you 3 hours to complete your journey from Edgering Ruins to disfavored camp. Okay. Sounds fine. I wonder if there's random encounters. I'm not sure. Definitely an interesting art style. I like how kind of sculpted everything looks. It's like they took a mold of clay and just like chopped pieces off of it to kind of form these rocks. It's kind of cool. Interesting. They did it probably also because they don't have an incredible budget, but I like it. I always like to, when game devs, you know, meet their lack of budget or resources with a creative alternative. Okay, so Verse is asking me to slow down. I know we're both eager to watch the Archons bicker over tactics, but I need to ask you something. What's that? The voices in Urat told me that you've come as a mediator. Considering the source, well, I can't help but feel I'm only hearing half the story. So let's have it out. What's so special about you? Considering I just met her, I don't really know if I can trust her all that much. So, let's see. What can I do here? So I can either lie and say I'm telling the expense of the siege, or I can tell the truth and say I'm delivering the edict, not tell her anything, question her suspicion. Ooh, I would have another option if I had subterfuge. Interesting that they don't tell you what you would be able to say, just that you'd be able to say another option. That's kind of interesting. I like that. Kind of makes you wonder what you're missing and, you know, think about making another character sometime. I could do like a little bit of redirection and just ask her like what else she's been told. That might work actually. I don't want to necessarily lie, but I'll use redirection and ask her what else she's heard. She said only that I could find you in the Edgering Ruins. Truthfully, I could have picked you out of a crowd. You're the only one of us who haven't spent the last few months bathing in the stink of the Tanny River. She laughs, but there's a forced nature to it. I don't necessarily want to broadcast the fact that I've got another edict because everybody knows that the last edict basically just destroyed, completely destroyed a city forever. So... Yeah, why so suspicious here? It's just a feeling I got. When the Archons are together, the air gets as taut as a bowstring. I can't help but feel that no amount of compromise will get them seeing eye to eye. Seeing eye to eye. I really don't want to tell her anything. Whatever, I'll just tell her. Okay, I gained loyalty, so it wasn't too bad. That makes a crazy kind of sense. Considering how long the siege has taxed the armies, I can understand why Kyros would send you with an edict to speed things along. Have you read it? Do you know what it says? I'll kind of put her in her place. That is not for you to know. Oh, it's interesting. There's different. It looks like there's different metrics for each character. Like there's fear, there's loyalty, and I'm guessing there's other ones too. So she now both is loyal, but also fears me a little bit. If you're telling the truth, I suppose we'll hear about it soon enough. Anyway, okay. The war tent is just past the center of camp. Okay. One last thing, be careful around these disfavored types. They take their work seriously, and most have suffered too many blows to the head. Well, that's just them, you know, bickering, probably. I'm always curious of what they hide in the corners where you're not necessarily supposed to go. I'm wondering if they have like little items or whatever I can pick up, but I'm assuming they... Ooh, what's this? A humble grave lies before you. A battered sword has been used as a marker. The initial B.
A modest grave for the Archon's son, Brennix. We don't bother with funeral rites in the chorus. No point in thanking conscripts for their duty.
Interesting. So it's like a little
Can't
little
do
grave.
that. Sorry, can't.
Guess a little bit of lore. So the chorus don't care about their conscripts. They just use them as like meat shields and stuff. And then, but the other ones still have some honor. And at least remember their fallen. All right, so I guess we're gonna meet the guard here. Go no farther. You approach disfavored ground. State your business. So I could either state my title. State my title clearly and, you know, completely, or I can just say I'm Tunan's Fatebringer, stand aside, I'm expected. That sounds a bit full of myself. I'll say the top one. It's an honor to have you in camp. Fatebringer, Fatebinder. Sorry in advance for all the arguments your presence will bring out. Interesting. They keep on referring back to my conquest decisions. That's pretty cool. Hopefully it won't be back. Hopefully it won't be like back in Stalwart with the chorus trying to claim our work slaves. Yeah. Yes, there's definitely some tension between the two factions, that's for sure. Oh, and Verse got kind of mad because they just kind of insulted her clan. Ooh, all right. So let's see. I don't really want to start a fight at the very gate. I just want to get through the gate. Okay. Okay, the Archons are expecting me. Find them in the war tent, center of camp. Okay, so let's find the Archons. So I'm thinking there'll probably be some shopkeepers and things like that. I'm thinking, right?
Can't do that.
Unless they want to wait for that. This little guy is patrolling all around. This guy kind of looks like a some kind of dealer or something. It's weird because I would think that these guys would be more like the more unlearned, illiterate kind of guys, and the other guys seem more knowledgeable. But I guess it's an interesting twist of the lore there. Fatebringer Indigo, I presume. I am Bitter Quip. And I'm here as emissary to the Scarlet Chorus. Okay. That's fine. I don't know if they're going to have a shop here right away. Let's see, I guess. So I guess I'll just go right to the quest. I don't really have a whole lot to do around here. Yeah, I'm guessing this tent is it, right? That guy's carrying a bag. That's funny.
I'd say that's worth a second glance.
Hidden objects. Oh, she's got like perception or something. Where is the hidden object though? Oh, little purple thing over here. That's pretty cool. That's like Fallout's perception thing where you notice traps and stuff. That's kind of cool. Oh, garnet, bloodstone, and topaz. That's worth it. Thank you. I guess they're already bickering. That's nice.
That's 4 reports of avalanches in the mountains now. The Tearsmen can barely count past 9. They have neither the capacity nor the cause to close off the mountain passes. Either way, that leaves the 2nd and 4th cohort trapped outside the valley.
Okay, so it's Graven Ash. Interesting. I didn't think I'd meet him right away, but... So he pounds a staff on the ground to punctuate his words. Okay.
Or it's the work of your perfidious Earthshakers. Only a fool would not suspect a traitorous Archon of poisoning the mind of his students with sedition. We would have killed the Earthshakers Guild for their master's treachery, but I'm sure you have some perfectly valid reason for allowing them to live as your pawns.
Interesting. So the voices of Nearad is like just a single person. Interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. A little bit of lore here. The Archon of Secrets passes the scepter between his hands as he speaks, twirling the rod in hypnotic circles. You hear the voices in your head. Voices as in, the voices in your head. Well, hello there, Fatebinder. We'll be with you in just a moment. Interesting. So he's like telepathically communicating to you while he's talking to the other guy. That's kind of cool.
Hey, watch yourself. When these two get going, you don't want to get between them.
Okay, good. I'm glad that the dialogue is a bit louder now. That's good. Well, she's afraid of them, but I'm wondering if they're going to... I could be polite and not break up what they're saying, or I could kind of state my business and be a little bit more... I might gain a little bit more respect if I'm kind of more forward. So I think I'll do that. Hopefully they don't get mad at me. Yeah, so I'm here to proclaim Cyrus's edict. The valley was sealed in preparation for this moment. Oh, interesting. So everybody was like, I gained favor with everybody on that. Interesting. So Iron Marshal Iranos, the Queenslayer, sensing your presence, this favorite commander snaps into firm salute. No doubt your presence here will strike despair into the hearts of our enemy. Lord Ash, Lord Nerat, our guest is here. It's kind of cool that this game like throws you right in the middle of being somebody of power and importance. Most games you're always like the little guy and then you build up to that. But here you're kind of like already, have, political power and influence, which is kind of interesting. If I had diplomat, I could probably say something pretty cool, but I think at this point, should I glare silently or apologize for the sudden entrance? I'm thinking that since I kind of gained some respect for being kind of forward, I might just glare silently.
Ah, the Stormcaller. Conveniently late once more. Our eyes and ears tell us you come bearing an edict. The anticipation is killing us.
Okay, well, I gained favor, so I can't be too mad at me.
My soldiers tell me you helped Commander Drotus on your way through Edring. You honor the court with your selfless cooperation, for that is the sort of camaraderie that Kairos demands of us all.
Oh, cool. He mentioned the fact that I saved Drustus. They really... So I guess he, on the last of his words, he glares at the voices in Nearat, furrowing his brow as he utters the word camaraderie. So they're both like really not each other's best graces. Yeah. I think I'd probably get some points with Graven Ash by saying I require no thanks for doing my sworn duty. Probably.
Modesty is your prerogative, but know that cooperation and goodwill have been rarities of late. You do your Lord Tunon a great honor by aiding your cousins in the disfavored.
So I gained some extra points with Graven Ash, but it looks like I gained some wrath with voices.
No, don't mind us while you trade your gushing praise. We're sure the Fatebinder has come because our company lacks in small talk.
So should I jab at them bickering, or should I give the edict? I should probably just do the edict.
It seemed only yesterday you were proving your worth in battle, assisting my warriors in the siege of the bastard city. Now Kairos has chosen you for a second time to proclaim an edict. Tell us, good Fatebinder, what sort of punishment does the Overlord have in store for the Oathbreakers?
All right. So this is interesting. So I could tell it to him straight. Yeah, the voice acting is pretty good. And they have interesting effects on each other, on the Archon's voices, to kind of add a little bit of mysticism to it. Should I tell it to him straight, or should I I could be really blunt and bad and saying, in honor of your incompetence and disarray, the edict will execute every living thing in the valley unless an Ascension Hall is taken by Kyros's Day of Swords. Or I could say, seems like you need some encouragement to work together. Or I could say, the Overlord's loyal servants must hold Ascension Hall of Kyros's Day of Swords, or all in the valley shall perish. I think I'll do encouragement. This one seems really like straightforward, militaristic, or whatever. But this seems like it's like might patch things up. Who knows? Might be wrong. Okay, so the voices near, I did not like that. The earth sways with each word you utter, the air thickening with warmth as you pronounce the tersely phrased commandment. It's every syllable drafted by the hand of Kyros. With the edict proclaimed, your pulse quickens and the muscles in your legs, worn from a long trip down to the mountains, feel renewed. The tired limbs now nearly buoyant with vigor. Interesting.
The Overlord means to compel us into action. No doubt the avalanches in the mountains are part of this ultimatum. We must conquer the Oathbreakers or die in failure. There is no room for error, and no other way out of this valley alive. We'll need to advance across the Mittani. We lose everything if we stand still. And we move to backup Plan Green. The Earthshakers didn't make it over the mountain in time, so we do this the hard way. Over the walls instead of through.
So you found your backbone at last! Oh, we were worried past humiliations would make you soft, timid. That was a record for you, right? The baker's dozen lost in one sortie. If you had waited for the chorus reinforcements, maybe we'd have eyes and ears on the matter.
The Archon of Secrets passes the scepter from one hand to the next, chuckling softly with each toss. You hear the voices in your head. Watch him squirm, so many tears over replaceable, expendable, useless soldiers. I miss the old Archon of War. You'd never see the blood echo of a blubbering mess over a few dead killers. He'd use the knuckle bones of his best disciples for jewelry, and even a breastplate made out of his dead brother's ribcage, because that's how a real man deals with grief. Ew, voices is pretty hardcore. I like how he kind of gives you little side telepathic notes here and there. That's kind of interesting. Ooh. I could just straight up burn voices right here if I wanted to. They call you the Archon of Secrets, but you certainly don't seem to know anything remotely useful. Ooh, should I be blunt or should I be pretty straightforward? Let's see. I think I might do a... I might be a little bit blunt now. Are you too daft? It is your indecision and bickering that necessitated this edict.
Daft? Only fools hate their lives enough to insult our intellect. But, our dear Binder, your invective is not without purpose. Each moment we waste, death by edict draws closer. Graven Ash, we leave you to tackle the river. The chorus will scour the outer valley.
So that is what it takes to get you to agree to a plan of action. The threat of death? You place the Overlord in this position with your incessant arguments, but now we've actually agreed to do something. Kairos be praised.
Well, I bounced it back a little bit. So, no more sitting idle. I expected his favor to be on the march at once. That seems pretty straightforward.
You've delivered your edict. Do not pretend it gives you the right to give orders to an Archon.
So I think I did 2 good things for the disfavored and 2 good things for the chorus. But both of them kind of made them mad at the other ones, so probably evened out, essentially. So Iron Marshal, my Lord Barrack and his band have been drilled on the Echo Call assault plan. So basically saying that they're ready to go and speak about enemy movements along the river. All right. So, and the 5th eye. Oh, it's this guy. I don't think they really named him before. And I'll ensure the chorus stands ready to march. If the disfavored can take the river, the chorus has the manpower to secure the outer ring of the valley. Okay.
Our soldiers clamor for battle, and at last we shall have it. Verse, we command you to continue guarding the Fatebinder. Tunon's Chosen is our honored guest, and must be shown our finest hospitality.
I won't let you down, boss. He'll get through the campaign in one piece, as long as he doesn't do anything too stupid.
And before we forget, we have a debt to settle. Last year, when our warriors got confused about supply lines, so kind of you to understand how things get muddled in the fog of war.
They're referencing the whole food thing that happened during the campaign. And the voice definitely seems more of like a kind of a snake-like figure. He's kind of like twisting events. Because the course literally rated disfavored provisions. Okay, so he's doing another... He taps the fifth eye on his shoulder, and with one last twirl of his scepter, the Archon departs with his underling. You hear the voices in your head. Suit yourself, Fatebringer, the more you ignore us. Okay, I'm catching the rings. What are the rings here? Oh, he tosses several iron rings your way as he begins to leave. I'm guessing, are the rings like the currency, I guess? That's what I'm guessing. Oh, I'll catch them, I guess. Okay, I lost some loyalty with the other Archon. Whatever.
Finally, the fool and his puppet are gone. Perhaps now I can hear myself think. Rarely do I question Kairos' judgment, but I will never understand why the voices of Narot is given such authority. I shudder to think what will become of us all should Tunon favor him in the end.
Okay, so Tunon is the adjudicator, the Archon of Justice, ruler of the conquered realms. Okay.
Though the edict threatens the Scarlet Chorus just as it threatens us, I cannot shake the feeling that our allies will work against us.
Probably true.
Queenslayer, I would ask that you join us in battle, if only for the satisfaction of your presence enraging the enemy. You've shown your worth in war, and your name has been known to the Legion since the very beginning of this long conquest. So I'd ask that you join us this one last time, to help us wrap up this last objective. If you wish to be counted amongst the glorious, speak with the Iron Marshal. She will direct the order of battle until we are ready for the final push into the Citadel.
So the Iron Marshal is saying he's short of scouts, soldiers, he's short of everything. I'm sure his brethren would be grateful for the assistance of a skilled outsider. I'd be honored to help, I guess. I'll be at the training grounds readying the soldiers. Find me there when you're ready. Okay. And though I am loath to mention it, the chorus can likely use your assistance. They certainly won't secure the outer valley on their own. Fifth Eye will be somewhere in the rat's nest they call a camp, due east. Seek him out if you must.
On it.
All right. I kind of hope we would get a little bit further than we have in 2 hours. I may call it a day pretty soon. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I actually nearly canceled this stream because I wasn't really feeling all that great. I think the streaming my commentary might have been suffered a little bit from it, but does seem like the actual story is going to start here pretty soon. But so far the game seems really interesting. I was never 100% behind Baldur's Gate style of combat, but I know a lot of people really liked it. It takes some getting used to, like, you know, the constant pausing, you know, setting objectives and then resuming and stuff. That takes some getting used to. But this game seems to have paced out the combat a little bit better.
Can't do that.
So you don't have to worry, because like before you could just die right away in like a couple attacks. So sometimes the combat would go a little bit faster than you would normally be able to react to. This game seems to have paced it out a little bit, or maybe it's just the difficulty level. I don't know. It might have been that more so. But yeah, I might actually call it a day now, since I think the next quest would probably be pretty long. So unfortunately we didn't get very far. I little disappointed about that, but I think that me learning the game plus the a lot of dialogue and introductory stuff, that RPGs like this are pretty beginning heavy as far as introduction and stuff. I mean, they have to introduce an entire world to you, so it's understandable. So probably end off here. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope to get a new video out here in the coming weeks. Not sure exactly what it's going to be about just yet. Like I said, I've been working like nonstop. You know, it's my first weekend since the New Year, so. But yeah, I look forward to doing another stream and releasing another video and seeing what you guys have to say about it. Thank you very much, and yeah, have a great rest of your weekend.